How's it going, everyone? Mike the War Host here, just taking a walk out in the beautiful desert at night, and what is that? What is that light? What is over there? I can't quite make it. Is that a person? Is that? Oh, guess not. How's it going, everyone? Mike the War Host here, and today we're venturing out of my comfort zone a bit to talk about the Amber Clade Posse, how to use it effectively, and a solid tournament list. This will be my first Watchers Posse I've covered on the channel, and I've only played against them a handful of times, so this is going to be a learning experience for everybody. The Amber Clade Posse is a primary posse that centers around Jocasta, the Amber Alpha, and the various bodyguards the remaining Watcher survivors on Earth have managed to cobble together. At its core, the posse is really nothing more than a collection of bullet sponges to distract enemy units while Jocasta lays waste to everything she sees. Seriously, Jocasta is tanky as hell. The Amber Clade Posse comes in at a meager 555 points base, though this can be tweaked a bit. The Grey Elites in the box can be customized with different equipment loadouts to fulfill different needs on the battlefield. If you get this box, I highly recommend getting some magnets to make swapping between them as painless as possible. If you include at least 6 Watcher units in your posse, then Jocasta gains +1 fortune. The posse structure itself is pretty open, so this should be pretty easy to do, assuming you can get hold of the Watchers models of your choice, of course. If you have an event coming up and need a list quickly, simply pick up a Viridian Clade Posse box, a box of Watcher hands, and a booby trap. Instant tournament ready list. If trawling through eBay and various online retail outlets doesn't sound that bad to you, then my dear Watchers fans, keep watching. I swear that sounded funnier in my head. I promise. Moving on, let's talk about Jocasta. Jocasta, the Amber Alpha, is an absolute terror on the battlefield, as is fitting for a legendary boss. Is she so scary, you ask? Well, for starters, she comes with Impervious, making her immune to not only the fatal weapon quality, but also all negative piercing modifiers. Doesn't matter what hit her, it's just a straight grit check. She also has Arcane Mastery, which will let her swap out any of her stats, except for Limit, with her mind value of 8 for that activation. She also has Compel, so squeezing a few extra shots out of a unit is pretty easy for her. Alright, Jocasta can also generate portals, and her Spirit Blast Torrent attack has attuned, so it'll be hitting with a piercing of -4 when focused and has displace on a critical success. The Vermilion Sentinels will make your shoot her moment that much more difficult. The Vermilion Clade rule will force the Sentinels to fail a grit check if a nearby face or boss fails theirs, giving your opponent even more to churn through before they can even start hitting Jocasta. Trailfinder ensures they'll be able to secure an area before Jocasta arrives, and Teamwork will give you a free triggered activation, along with Xeno Shield, making them that much harder to wound. The Vermilion Sentinels are no slouches when it comes to offense either. A combination of Bull Rush, Quick Strike, and Piercing -2, Rate of Attack 2 Bladed Gauntlets mean they'll be able to bring down most opponents in melee. Their Fusion Carbines, while only having an ROA of 1, also come with Brutal, a piercing value of -3, and Fatal on a crit. The Grey Elite unit gives you a bit of choice. The models in the box can either be built as a Lancer Myriad with a Watcher Weapon Array, or a Storm Myriad with Skyleap. The Storm Myriad comes with pulse rifles that are good at forcing your opponent to roll a large number of dice. The Lancer Myriad comes with both a pulse rifle and proton disruptor, which can be swapped out for various other weapons. Your weapon choice will be determined largely by personal preference. Do you want a long-range punch? Go for the Artron Lance with an ROA of 1, piercing -3, and 18-inch range. Want a few more shots? Stick with the Proton Disruptor with its ROA of 2, piercing -2, but only a 15-inch range. Want to be able to move and shoot in the same activation? Grab the Nadion Shredder with a small range of 9 inches, but without heavy. If you plan ahead and get some small magnets, you'll be able to make the most out of the box contents by being able to switch between unit and weapon types without an issue. So with that being said, what else do we need to get an effective tournament Amber Clade list? To simplify things a bit for this portion of the video, we'll be going with 4 Grey Elite Storm Myriad from the box content, leaving 4 of the 6 posse slots open. Your first purchase should be a box of Grey Hands units. This will give you a 5 alien strong unit of either Pulse or Drain Myriad, whichever you decide to put in slot 3. The Pulse Myriad will give you 15 shots per activation with a piercing of 0, while the Drain Myriad will give you 5 shots of piercing -2, with Refined and Disorder on a crit. Both rifles have the special rule as well equipped and Xeno Shield, so choose according to taste. The Pulse Myriad unit will be 5 points cheaper per model, so if you're trying to squeeze in one last model somewhere else, the Pulse Myriad may be the better option. Slot 4 goes to anywhere from 1 to 2 non-support Watcher units. I'm going to recommend the Onyx Destroyer Beta as well as the Cerulean Vixen. The Onyx Destroyer Beta comes with a deconstruction rifle with a 20-inch range and a piercing value of -4, as well as the Onyx Clade rule removing the penalty for long-range shooting. The Stone Cold Killer rule will give the Beta some additional survivability while he's operating solo. Just be extra sure of your positioning at the start of the game, as his rifle has both the heavy and special rules, so you'll only be getting one shot. The Cerulean Vixen is a great way to sneak up on a weakened opponent and drop a nasty blast template on them while they're on the back foot. The Cerulean Clade rule establishes the rules for a disguise, which makes the Vixen unable to be the initial target of an attack. Their disguise is lost as soon as they make a combat action, but can be regained by spending an action point after being at least 10 inches away from an enemy unit. The Vixen can get within range with their Neurocacophonic Blast, fire off a focus shot for a piercing of -3 and shred, then run off and put their disguise back on. A sneaky and underhanded tactic to be sure, but effective enough. Slot 5 will go to our other Grey Hands unit from the box. Pretty straightforward, huh? The only caveat I'll list here is that your Drain Myriad unit should only be 4 models instead of the usual 5. We'll get to why in just a second. And to round things off, we have Slot 6, which allows us to take up to 2 Watchers units. Since we're being a bit fanciful here regarding model availability, let's go for broke and bring an Umber King Scarab with us to round things out. The Umber King Scarab is a massive beast of a unit sitting on an XXL base and costing us a whopping 150 points. This beast is a massive tank of a unit designed solely to smash whatever is in its way and weather enemy fire without blinking. The Umber King Scarab has tough and indomitable to not only absorb any incoming fire that gets past its high grid of 8, it also has unstoppable and surefoot to quickly make its way through anything in its path. The Umber King Scarab's melee weapon has a piercing of -3 and an ROA of 3, as well as brutal on a crit for additional insult to injury. And if that weren't enough, it also has quick strikes to make a second melee attack easily. And its corrosive spray template weapon has lethal and engulf, so it can make quick work of anyone hiding in a building. The only downside to bringing the Umber King Scarab is its unexpected arrival rule. You won't be able to exactly plan on when the big guy shows up, or where he'll show up, or if he'll arrive and immediately be destroyed because he's scattered onto some impassable terrain. The overall strategy for this posse is dead simple. Use the Hands units to harass your opponent and guard the flanks. Use the Vermilion Sentinels as bullet sponges. Use the Onyx Destroyer as a sniper. Use the Cerulean Vixen as a finishing unit. Use the Umber King Scarab as a distraction carnifex. And use your Costa to open portals as needed and blast into little bits whenever needs blasting into little bits. There you have it, folks. The Amber Clade in a nutshell. A grab bag of Watcher goodies designed solely to keep Jocasta breathing and shooting mind bullets at everyone in range. Well, that's going to do it for me today. Stay tuned for more painting tutorials, rules discussions, battle reports, and more. Take care, everyone. Is that a plane? What is that weird?